Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mini Scroll, the daily internet culture podcast, bringing you the biggest stories from social media, the creator economy, and the digital space every Monday through Thursday. I'm your host, Lauren Meisner, the founder of the youth digital media brand Centennial World. Welcome back to Mini Scroll, everyone. We've had a small glow up for the YouTube girlies. I got this beautiful little storage thing so we could have some storage in our office, and it is housing now our Mini Scroll sign, which I feel like is perfect, and our Rode mixer, and I got this curtain. I did iron it. I brought it home and I ironed it. It doesn't look like I did, but I swear I did, and I hung it up over the green wall, okay? No more green wall. Oh. So I feel like we are one more step there with the setup. The lighting is still not exactly perfect. I feel like it makes me look old and haggard, but we will get there. Anyways, on to the stories for today because we have a lot to cover. So I'm going to start with the happy news first, and then I'm going to get into some more serious stuff. So the first story that I have for you guys is that Hailey and Justin Bieber are expecting their first child. So Hailey and Justin Bieber are going to be parents. The couple announced the news of Hailey's pregnancy via Instagram this weekend with a photo shoot of the couple in the desert. Hailey was dressed in a vintage, lacy, wedding dress-esque gown, and there's all these pictures of Justin taking her photo and the two of them together. It's actually a beautiful photo shoot. It reminds me a lot of, that kind of aesthetic is just really in right now for wedding and announcement type of romantic photo shoots. It's very Lana Del Rey. It reminds me a lot of Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker's first wedding when they got married just at the chapel together, their first wedding vibe. Shortly after announcing the news, however, Justin's mom commented on Instagram, causing a bit of controversy when she wrote that the couple will make the most beautiful grand babies, leading to speculation that they were expecting twins. Justin's mom quickly shut down the speculation in the comments, saying that she just meant, in general, they will make beautiful grandbabies for her. And then a rep for Hailey confirmed to Entertainment Tonight that she is about 6 months along. A source told the outlet, quote, Hailey and Justin are thrilled to be expecting a baby together. They have wanted this for a long time and can't wait to expand their family and bring a child into the world. Hailey and Justin are united and have been on the same page when it comes to parenthood. They have experienced so much together as a couple and feel ready to take this next step in their lives and relationship. Hailey is such a natural caretaker, and Justin knows she will be the best mom, and Hailey has always thought that Justin will make an amazing dad. Hailey, Justin, their families and loved ones are so excited for this beautiful blessing. Cute. Love that. Not surprising. The Biebers have been very open, even with the public, about their desire to have children. And I feel like maybe they were waiting for their health. Both of their health has not been great in the past few years. So both of their health issues to kind of, subside a bit before they ventured into this journey. But here we are. All right. The next story that I have for you guys is that HaleyBaylee, or aka Hailey Khalil, has apologized for her Met Gala Let Them Eat Cake video. So last week, TikToker HaleyBaylee posted a video at the Met Gala dressed in a Marie Antoinette-inspired dress and lip-synced the sound Let Them Eat Cake. Watch last Thursday's mini scroll for a full breakdown on why this rubbed people so the wrong way, but it so did. It made people so upset, and it kicked off this massive backlash, which I will get to in my next story of this. It kicked off a movement, essentially, against celebrities. So I think the initial strategy was maybe for Hailey to avoid addressing this. She didn't address it. She didn't even take her video down, and she just kept posting like normal for days and days. And then this movement, which I will address in my next story, kicked off. And I feel as though she is worried now that she will never be invited to any of these elite events again because celebrities and influencers and PR people and just everyone in the industry is probably so frustrated with her right now. So she has made an apology video.
Hey guys, I know what a lot of you guys want from me right now is answers, and I want nothing more than to give them to you. So hopefully I can answer every question that you have about what happened on Monday night. About a week and a half before the Met Gala, I was contacted by E! To see if I had any interest in being a pre-Met Gala host. There are usually 3 hotels that celebrities leave from to go to the Met Gala. I was stationed at what's called the Mark. I was supposed to do content with celebrities and on air about their departures to the Met. The Met is one of the most exclusive events in all of fashion. You have to be handpicked by Anna Wintour herself to go. That's the only way that you get there. I was not invited by Anna Wintour. I did not hold an actual invitation to the Met Gala. I was involved only as a host, meaning that the moment that the last attendee left the hotel, I went home and I watched the Met Gala coverage from my couch with my friends. That is also why you haven't seen any photos of me on the white and green carpet for the Met Gala, because I was working at the Mark. And I literally wasn't even invited to the Met Gala, so security would have definitely dragged me out. I paid no amount of money to go to the gala because I wasn't invited. Since I was little, I have idolized the Met. I love the costumes and the design, and it has always been one of my biggest dreams to be invited to attend. After entering content creation, I was told that those dreams are nearly impossible if you are not in one of the inner circles of fashion. So when E reached out to me with interest in being a pre-Met Gala host, I immediately said yes, because I just wanted to get even remotely close to it, just to like see the thing I had idolized for so long. I was at the Mark, which is on 77th Street, and the Metropolitan Museum is on 82nd Street. So that's about as close as I was allowed to get to the Met Gala. People that you saw behind me in my videos were people that were lined up outside the Mark to do the exact same thing as me, which was get content with celebrities as they departed for the Met. The dress that I wore was made by hand by a friend. Mark is one of my nearest and dearest friends. I met him back when I was modeling, and we just stayed friends. So then when all of this red carpet stuff started happening for me, I reached out to him, and he started to help me and make dresses for me by hand out of literally the kindness of his own heart. I have never paid him a cent. He has never paid me. We just work on the dresses together because we find it to be really fun. Every single dress I've worn on a carpet this year has all been made by hand by Mark. I have not paid anyone anything. I haven't bought dresses. I haven't paid designers. Mark is the only person that I have worked with. Mark does not have a factory. Mark does not employ a bunch of people to work on these dresses. Every single dress he has made for me, he has made by himself with no one else's help, by hand, out of literally nothing more than the kindness of his own heart. And he's one of the only reasons I've even been able to do what I've done this year, because I wouldn't have had the dresses to go to these events if it hadn't been for him. This now brings me to the audio that I used for that particular video. And first and foremost, before I say anything, I need to apologize. I am so sorry that I chose a sound that you guys could ever possibly feel was malicious in nature. If I had thought for even 1 second that the sound would be received that way, I never, ever would have used it. When I film my TikToks, I love to use trending audios and sounds that people are currently using, and this was one of them. The sound has been used in over 110,000 TikTok videos. It's the current trending audio of a glow-up trend in the United States and abroad. It's also been used by different makeup artists in the last couple weeks to create Marie Antoinette looks.
Let them eat cake.
Who took the bomb? Who took the bomb?
And it's been used by big and small creators alike, with no negative feedback or no negative discussion in the comments.
Let them eat cake.
Who took the bomb?
Let them eat cake.
Who took the bomb?
Let them eat cake.
Who took the
Let them eat cake.
Who took the bomb?
Let them eat cake.
Who took the bomb?
Let them eat cake.
Who took the bomb?
The sound choice truly had no deeper meaning. I never would have chosen a sound on purpose to highlight wealth disparity or elitism. I never even thought it would be taken in that way, because I wasn't elite enough to even be invited to the Met Gala, because I'm not elite. I'm a normal person. My dumb self just used an audio that I thought was viral and trending and that people recognized from the Marie Antoinette 2006 movie.
Let them eat cake.
Who took the bomb?
I didn't think that much into it, and for that I am so sorry. I did not do my due diligence. Like, I'm so stupid, because the things going on in the world today are weighing heavily on everyone's hearts. Innocent men, women, and children are dying. People do not have access to food and water. People are being kicked out of their homes. There are so many things going on in this world that are just wrong. I know that this situation is very complex. I also know that I don't know the right thing to do or say a lot of the time, which leads me to the question everyone is asking, which is, why don't I talk about it? And it's simply because I am not informed enough to talk about it in a meaningful and educational way. I do not have the background knowledge to educate or discuss in a meaningful way. I grew on social media as a comedy creator, and I love comedy. I love making videos, and that's how I gained my platform. But that doesn't mean that the second I started gaining followers on the platform that I automatically knew the right thing to say when it came to world affairs or wars or disputes or death or destruction or crisis. I still am just that same girl who wanted to post her first comedy video a year and a half ago on TikTok. But I do know that as somebody with a big platform, it is my responsibility to always try to be a positive voice and to always try to better myself and be a good example for my audience, because I never want to let them down. At the end of the day, I want to make sure that my words are used for good. And when I don't think that I'm informed enough on a situation, I try not to comment until I am confident that I am actually informed and the things that I'm saying are true. If the pandemic taught me one thing, it was that sometimes celebrities and creators need to sit down and be quiet so that other people's voices can be magnified. The people that are actually well educated and informed on the situation, they're the ones who should be speaking about it. Just because somebody has a following doesn't mean they're necessarily the right person to speak on the issue, especially if they are ill-informed or uninformed on that issue. I do all of this on my own. I don't have a fancy team that selects my sounds or edits my videos or posts my videos or writes the caption. I don't have an editor. I post everything myself. Everything that you see was probably filmed by either me or my boyfriend, edited by me, and then posted by me. And sometimes I am dumb and sometimes I mess up. Sometimes I don't correctly anticipate how people will react or feel to something, and for that I am truly so sorry. It breaks my heart that a video that I posted has added to any of this. It breaks my heart that a video that I posted has made anyone feel less seen or less heard. So again, from the bottom of my heart, I am so sorry. You do not have to accept my apology, but just know that I am so sorry, and I really hope that this sheds a light on all of these issues and opens up a very important discussion. At the end of the day, I am glad, though, that an unintentional mistake has now been the catalyst for discussing wealth inequality, world crisis, and will hopefully bring about the leaders whose voices should be heard in this. And again, I'm sorry. It is my job as a content creator to apologize whenever I make anyone feel unseen or unheard, even if it's unintentional. And just know that no matter what, I love you, thank you for being here, and thank you for watching this whole video if you made it this far.
Hailey also commented on Mini Scroll's TikTok from Thursday. She wrote, "I did not know the historical background of this quote. I thought it was a viral audio from a 2006 movie. I am so sorry. I would have never used it if I had known. The video has been taken down." Like I said Thursday, I don't think she made this video with ill intentions. I think she didn't think about it too much, and that's kind of the point of what people are saying, and that's why people are mad, is that having the luxury to not think about that and to not think about something like that you're posting in this current political and socioeconomic climate is just so off base. However, the backlash against Hailey did get very intense, like I said, and it has sparked this digital movement that started over the weekend that users are now calling Blockout 2024. So the ideology behind Blockout 2024 is to block mega celebrities who have not spoken out about Palestine. The first celebrity targeted, at least that I saw, was Kim Kardashian. The idea was that if millions of people block Kim, then she loses all these followers and she also can't advertise to those people anymore, and that will put pressure on her to speak up. So the concept behind the movement really makes sense, but I wanted to address some of the criticisms against this movement and some of the problems that I am seeing as an internet culture expert journalist who spends all my time literally on TikTok and online scrolling through things. I'm not an activist expert by any means, but from an internet culture perspective. So the problem that I'm seeing now is that too many users are jumping in, trying to be the organizers of this like digital guillotine that we're calling it. And there are now like hundreds of lists going around online of who to block. So that makes it A, less impactful because it's not as targeted. So the celebrities that are getting blocked are actually not losing as many followers as they could be if we were going about it in like an organized list, like day by day type of way. Number 2, or B, I forget if I said 1 or 2 or A or B, whatever. The second one is that it's centering the celebrities and the influencers in the conversation as opposed to centering Palestine. So an example of this is there's a video that I saw yesterday of somebody talking about how they hope Kim Kardashian loses more than just quote unquote 3 million followers. There's like a rumor going around that she's already lost 3 million followers. I have not fact checked that. I don't think that's quite true. But regardless, even if she has, this video is a woman saying, I hope she loses more than 3 million followers. I opened the comments on this video and it is just filled with people. And this is just one example. These examples are everywhere. But, it's just filled with people saying, I hope she has to work in retail. I hope she loses so much that she ends up struggling to feed her 4 children. I hope she learns what it feels like to struggle to buy groceries and pay your rent at the same time. Things like that. Like people explaining their hardships and saying they hope Kim feels that. I understand the sentiment. I understand wishing that the elite, that the billionaires of the world could feel the struggles that we feel. But that is not the point of the Blocklist movement. The point of this movement is to draw more attention to Palestine. So by centering Kim in the conversation and hoping and saying that you hope that she loses so much from this blocking that she ends up, having to work in retail or whatever, which is like never going to be the point. She's never going to have to work in retail, okay? But regardless, by us saying things like that, it dilutes the message. The point of blocking Kim is not that we hope that she loses so many followers that she has to go be a regular person. The point is that it will get her attention. It's the same way as like when you email your MP, for example, and you're just flooding their inbox. It's not because you're hoping that, they get so frustrated that they quit their job. It's that you want to get their attention. You're trying to get their attention to address the matter that you want addressed. And so with Kim, it's like, yes, we want to be able to like hit her where it hurts, essentially, with this block list, with everybody that is being blocked, right? It's like hit them where it hurts. Block them so that they lose followers and therefore lose revenue, and then maybe they will speak out about the thing we want them to speak out about. It's not about her losing so many followers or so much money that she has to go work in retail. It's not really about that. So I have just seen countless videos and comment sections filled with people trying to push their own, like project their own stressors that they're experiencing, very valid stressors in the world right now on these celebrities. That's not the point of the block list, and that is getting completely diluted. Okay, and the third thing that I'm seeing is that with too many lists and too many organizers of these lists, there is no clear movement anymore. So when it comes to this whole situation, we need to really understand, like, what are the criteria for celebrities to get on this list? Because literally some lists that I have seen, you guys, have Bella Hadid on it. I don't even think I need to explain why that is so off base for Bella Hadid to be on a block list for not speaking up enough about Palestine. She is Palestinian and she has literally been advocating for Palestine for years and years and years, well before 7 months ago. We need to know why we're blocking these people. We need to know what the end goal is because, like I just said, the end goal is getting lost. I think the message is getting lost. And how can we ensure that this action is the most productive to our end goal? There's a lot of disorganization around the block list, and therefore the tangible results that we could be getting out of it, I don't think we will. And this is not unique to the block list. If we look back at BLM and the black square situation that happened, everybody was posting black squares on their Instagrams and hashtagging BLM or Black Lives Matter. And what that ended up doing in the end was flooding Instagram with black squares with the hashtag. So when someone clicked on the hashtag, instead of actually getting the right resources and information from the organization or from people who were helping in the movement, they just got a whole explore page of black squares, and that drowned out all of the actual information. And I think it's interesting to think about how social media has been both a blessing to activism and a curse. Of course, on the blessing side of things, it is bringing so much awareness. It is creating these digital movements that, otherwise people might have not even really cared to partake in prior to social media, caring about these different causes, raising money, helping out. It's obviously done a lot of good. But on the other hand, I think social media is really interesting because if you think about pre-social media, if you wanted to engage in activism, You had to actively seek out an organization. And when you became part of that organization, there's a structure in place. There's a hierarchy in place, and you are following the organization's leader, and you are following their lead. You're following their practices, their systems in place, their rules, their guidelines. You didn't walk into an organization and say, I want to help, let me take over. You walked in and you said, I want to help. How can I help? And let me take your direction. There are systems in place when it comes to activism to ensure that the work being done is intentional and productive. But what I think is at the root of all of this, I've been thinking about this so much this weekend. What I think is at the root of this is media literacy, or a lack of media literacy. So this is not new. We have seen over the last few years how the world in general, we struggle with a media literacy problem. So again, before social media, if you were getting information on a genocide, for example, you were getting it from a reliable source. So you were reading about it in a newspaper, you were reading about it even online, just like pre-social media, even if it was like, a publisher's website or something like that. You were hearing about it on the news, on television. Obviously, most media entities have a bias. They might lean left, they might lean right. But regardless, the information that you were being presented was from a fact-based source, like a journalist, and they had to vet the information, and there were, editors involved, and there were fact checkers involved. And what you were getting at the root of it was factual information. But now with social media, obviously anybody can make a Twitter account, an Instagram, a TikTok, and claim to be an expert on things and try and start their own movements. And they can even buy verification from some of these platforms now, so they look more legitimate. So while yes, everyone right now should be informed about what is happening in Palestine, like you would have to be quite literally living under a rock to not know what is going on. I think media literacy in terms of like people's action being taken is so rarely part of the conversation. And it's a big part of the conversation. I think people genuinely don't know how to vet a source. They don't know how to do proper research, like fact-based research. So what ends up happening is people want to get on board. We are scrolling on TikTok and we're bombarded with all these videos about a block list, for example, and we want to partake. That feels like an accessible, tangible way to make a difference. But it's very difficult, I think, a lot of times for the end user to vet the source that they are getting this from, the creator that they are getting this from. So with the block list, there's a lot of good intention behind the initiative, but I think it's being derailed by the disorganization of it all and by the end user not fully understanding who they're getting these block lists from and why they're doing it. And people don't want to be complicit. They want to do good. They want to get involved. We saw that with the Black Square, it was a very easy, some people might say performative, but it was an easy way to get involved, an accessible way to get involved, to show your support. And it was not handled properly because we didn't quite understand, the end user didn't quite understand the purpose of the movement and the purpose of that post. So I think to avoid this, I came up with like a few, this is very high level. Again, I am not an activist expert. So if you guys are, comment down below. Give us some other tips. But I think in terms of like an academic perspective, like a journalistic perspective, how you can vet better on TikTok to make sure that you're actually like getting the most out of the movements that you're engaging with. Number one, I would say search the creator's name or the organization's name on Google. This won't always bring up what you want because I was actually just talking to a friend about this yesterday, but if you go on some of the major news outlets in Australia, for example, I live in Australia. I don't know if that's clear all the time because I do have a Canadian accent, but I live in Australia. If you go on all the major news publishers, so many of them don't even have any story about Palestine on the front page. So it's not always going to work out this way, but Google an organization, see if it has any reputable media coverage, if you trust that media organization. If you don't know if you trust a media organization, also just keep looking into it. Google it. Look at different people that follow that organization if you trust them. If a news article has, experts quoted, look up those experts. What do they stand for? What have people said about them? Number two, I would say go to this person's profile. If it's like TikTok, for example, or Twitter, and somebody's saying like, block all these celebrities. Go to their profile, look at who follows them, look at who they follow, look at if they have any other videos like this, who engages in their comments. Are they a reputable creator to be taking, direction from? Number 3, I would say if you really want to get involved in something and you want to learn more about it, you don't need to follow everyone that is posting about it, because that is going to bombard you, and it's going to start to make you numb to the situation. I think a big part of the problem too is that people with algorithms get bombarded by information about like one single topic, and then they start to disengage. So you don't need to follow everyone. Just find like 1 or 2 organizations or creators that are genuinely doing the work and follow them and take their lead. When it comes to Palestine, I would say Operation Olive Branch and Pass the Hat by Aaron Hattemer. Those are 2 creators, organizations, movements to follow that, I would consider reputable. I would love to hear some other suggestions down below for sure. But I think the point that I'm trying to make after all of this is that activism is all about organization, and organization has to remain central to these efforts. Otherwise, it will end up another black square situation. All right, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening to Mini Scroll. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. It helps me so much. It helps me grow. I would love to hear your feedback. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.